For me, the main thing is you've got, I've said it before, billions of people, billions, who have gone around the world this way. Billions. Happens every day. People flying, people doing this, people doing this. You've got this going on all the time. You've got it going on up here. You've even got it going on down around here. You see it every day, billions. This is circumnavigating east-west. I know for a fact that I've gone to the Philippines, and I flew out of San Francisco, went to the Philippines. I know my wife's flown out of San Francisco and gone to Germany. So, for the most part, we can tell that you can go east or west and get back to where you came from. That should be something everyone accepts, that if you went this way, you would be able to come back to where you started. But the bigger problem becomes this, which is who has circumnavigated north-south? Because on a flat Earth map, it doesn't happen. It can't happen. And again, I'll just, for example's sake, and I think if I bring it up here, let me see if I can actually search it. But I'm going to bring up the browser real quick and show you something. See if I can find the guy who broke the record. So it was Circumnavigation. Let's see. Overflies North and South Pole. Pilot Bill Harrelson? Sounds somewhat familiar. Yes, this is it. Okay, yeah, this guy here. Okay, so this is the one I watched. I guess it was at the end of 2014. I thought it was 2015. But basically left out of Virginia. Okay, pilot Bill Harrelson, Fredericksburg, Virginia, landed in Chile and began preparations for the 27-hour leg that would take him Chile across the South Pole and landing in Hamilton, New Zealand. Okay, and said Glenn Oxford, a member of Harrelson's ground support team, during a telephone interview. Everything will rest on his third leg. Oxford, also an airline pilot and a former naval aviator, said the ground team was keeping an eye on weather in southern Argentina, hopefully that the conditions would move east, away from Harrelson's route south of Bartlett in some airplane. All right, so Harrelson, whose progress is being followed by the public on a ZQ Pilot Facebook page, that's right, ZQ Pilot, and on a real-time tracking site, SpiderTracks. Now, last time I clicked this, they've taken down the tracks, the path. It'll say something about SpiderTracks. They've changed the way their site works. See, the SpiderTracks website was migrated. It has been redirected. And I've tried to find, if you go SpiderTracks, then you have to have an account. A bunch of bullshit. It wasn't there before. Because before you could just click that link and actually see the tracks. Now they don't have that. But let's continue. So he began his journey December 28th in North Carolina, landing in Montevideo, almost 29 hours of flight. The ground support team, which also includes Earth Rounder and record holder Carol Ann Garat, mostly communicates with Harrelson by texting. Let's see. Harrelson is having another go at the record-setting flight after being turned away in March 2013 by adverse weather around the South Pole. Harrelson, who watches South Pole weather the way most people check forecasts of their hometown, Oxford said he used to think that March was the ideal time for the trip after the setback, and with the weather window closing by April on an unusually favorable season, he decided that late December might prove to be a better chance to avoid the potential threats of icing and unfavorable winds. It makes no sense why you're going to have trouble with that height no matter where you're at. The reversal in 2013 wasn't the end of the long-distance flying for Harrelson on that effort. His stateside return was accomplished with a 27-hour nonstop flight from the southern tip of South America to landing in Key West. Okay, so you'll see here they kind of didn't end this story. They just say that he's overflying both poles in earth-rounding bid and that he was checking into the weather. That's basically where it ended. But if you find this guy, so again, let's get his name. His name is Bill Harrelson, and he's also known as ZQ Pilot. Okay, so we're going to go ZQ Pilot. See if we can find his Facebook page. Facebook, Circumnavigation World Record Attempt. Okay, well, this is a great little map that shows you here. Let's see if we get this up. Okay, so by the way, this is the current record holder for circumnavigation. Okay, he flew from North Carolina down to South America, down to what looks like around Sao Paulo, down to Brazil somewhere, then went to the South Pole and turned right around and came back. Okay, they had it on spider tracks. He came right here and then just turned around and came back, then went all this way to get to New Zealand. And remember, we just read that it said he was supposed to go across the South Pole. If you remember exactly what it said he was going across the South Pole, so he should come here. Oh, basically this white line is showing you the intended path. So he should have came out over here and landed it here. But he didn't. He went back, went this way, then flew up here. He even went off his path here for some reason, and he was given the record. Okay, so that's all it takes. That's all you need to tell me for me to question everything I know about the globe, is that there's no organization in the world that would ever have any kind of contest for circumnavigation, north-south, and call what this man did circumnavigating the globe. He completely did not. And on a flat earth map, I'll show you that in 1 second, so you can see why anybody who doesn't question this, well, they're the ones who need help, not me. Let's transition this over. All right. So what he basically did, let me get a color that we can all see here, maybe I don't know, yellow. Yellow will work. We'll get a little bigger pen. All right. So like I said, he went from here in North Carolina down to here, down to here, down to here. He flew to the South Pole, turned around and came right back. Then from here, flew out here, to here, to here, or then it went to here, then up to the North Pole and back home. Okay, that's what he did on a flat earth map, which would be all that is possible to do, because you can't go further this way. It gets ridiculously cold, or your equipment doesn't work. I don't know what. I've never been out there. But on a globe, it should be simple. You're just flying over the South Pole and coming back on the other side. But start looking it up. Start doing your research and find out, when has this ever happened? Why have billions of people gone around the world this way? Billions. And also the North Pole, which, remember, we're on a globe. Draw a little picture here. It's tilted. Okay, half the time, here's the sun. Here's the other half. Okay, so that means that the North Pole and the South Pole both get equal amount of time away from the sun and towards the sun. So they should be the same. Yep. So they should be the same, right? I mean, there should be no difference. Yet we've got flights that go across this nonstop, all day, flying over the North Pole, tons of times. But the South Pole, for some reason, we can't. The North Pole is seasonable weather. There's plants up there. There's animals up there, all in this northern circle. But in the southern circle, nothing. It's desolate. It's freezing. It's so cold. And let me get a little better. I know you can't see it very well here. Let's get rid of this map, just so I can show you. All right. So again, we've got, this is my little sun here. Of course, this is not to scale by any stretch of the imagination. But we've got, okay, there you go. And then we've got our tilt. Again, I'm not doing any kind of degrees. I don't know what angle I'm at. Just showing the point. Okay. So this is, for the most part, the orbit of the Earth going this way, correct? Okay. Half the year, the north is faced away from the sun. This is during the northern winter. Half the time the north is pointed towards the sun during the northern summer. Okay, so you've got this bottom portion here of frozen Antarctica. Okay, those should be the same. They're not really the same looking. But just imagine that you've got half the year where this is getting baked by sun all the time. Okay, plus, remember this, that the sun, okay, during the southern summer, we'll call this southern summer, is 375 Earth diameters, which is this size here, closer to the Earth. So the sun is 375 Earth diameters closer to the Earth in the southern summer. When it's the northern summer, we'll put NS here, the sun is 375 Earth diameters further from us. Okay, so when it's the closest is the southern summer, meaning here's the sun, it's closest to the Earth in December, January, February. That's when the South Pole is just spinning on an axis, getting beat by the sun all day long, and yet there's a frozen patch there. So why this never melts? This is just a frozen tundra. People can't go there. It's miserable. It's dry. It's not even wet. It's just cold. Look at the temperature difference between the North Pole and the South Pole. Makes no sense on a globe at all. But where does it make sense? It makes sense on a flat Earth. All of a sudden, this makes sense. Because your sun is doing its orbiting here. It gets closer to the middle. Then it goes out to the outside. But it's always in these red lines. So where would be the absolute coldest? Here. 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 Freezing. Never going to melt. You're never going to get enough sun to melt this. So it's just going to be frozen at all times. Where's there going to be water? Well, there's going to be water here. Because there's no ice patch here that stays frozen like there is in the south. And again, this all stems off north-south circumnavigation. Why is there nobody who's done north-south circumnavigation? Again, you can look up Sir Ranulph Fiennes. And don't tell me I haven't been doing that. Oh, good. I keep getting scared you're not looking at the same thing I am. But let's look up, let's go switch to this again, browser. Okay, so this guy did a complete joke of an attempt. And I don't want to say that. It's not his fault. He probably thought he was going to do something great. Why wouldn't you? I don't know how you find out that you're not doing it right, but you'll see these posts. So January 23rd would be less than a month after he did it. Why would this man just disappear? Where'd this man go? He had a Facebook page called ZQ Pilot where he was updating everyone all along the time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fly out here. Here's my weather reports. Here's my plane I'm taking. Here's my buddies. Here's my pals. Here's what we're doing on the globe. Here's how we're going to go about this. Here's the airport I'm at. Here's my updates live. Going through the whole thing. Then we get to January 23rd, and it's done. He's done. Never makes another post again. So what's going on here? Is he embarrassed? Was he told to shut up? I don't know. The real last leg complete. Bill and the sick ZQ can sleep at home at last. Bill will be sorting through all the pictures and responding to all the requests for information. And maybe learn how to make a post to Facebook page. Maybe. ZQ G6 figures that when the record is made official, it will show a 500% increase to the 27-year-old standing record, approximately 72 kilometers per hour. And at least the last time I checked, he was the record holder, that they gave him the record, although I do see a comment over here on the page from somebody asking, was this certified? At least it was there a second ago. Oops, are you not looking at what I'm looking at? Of course not. There you go. So sorry, I was looking at this Facebook page and showing you that all down here, he had posts all the time. Constant posts, exactly where he was, showing you what happened. And then this is the one that I saw where ZQ tracks came here, went south, and came back this way. Let's see if we can find any information on here. See more. But then what happened is he got back and then disappeared. So you'll see then he went from there, came this way to New Zealand. Let's see here what we can find. 'Cause, 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 and then he flew this way. Excuse me. But basically the important part here is you'll see he gets up to his post here showing that, let's see if there's any comments here. Oh, here's a comment. Was the record ever officially certified? Why didn't he fly across the Antarctic ice wall to the other side? Due to headwinds, he didn't have enough fuel to make it to New Zealand, so he went back to Chile, which is about 800 kilometers closer. Anyway, you'll see he gets up here. This is January 23rd, 2015, and that is the last post of this person's page. Had a lot of people following, a lot of people liking. ZQ pilot page, supposedly some record-breaking thing, but he stopped posting. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll try and contact him. I doubt he'll talk to me. But what happened here? Why would he not talk anymore? Is he the record holder? Pretty crazy. Here's a local from the Kinston paper. So this is an article from a newspaper. Let's see what's up with this. No subscribing. Virginia pilot sets record in experimental aircraft that took from and landed in Kinston. Let's see here. Several friends and pilots who tracked his flight on Facebook and via spider tracks and aviation tracking software welcomed him with cheers. Took photographs and video of his descent onto the runway after he circumnavigated the globe. I mean, this alone, this is a lie. This is a lie. He did not circumnavigate the globe. We just looked at what he did, and it's not circumnavigating. Let's go look at the globe real quick just to see what he did. And it's the same thing as when those college people did the balloon launch, and every news station took a run with it and said, oh, look at the curvature of the Earth. They showed the curvature of the Earth. These students verified the curvature of the Earth. But when you went to the guy's page that actually sent up the balloon, he said, we never said anything like that. We know we used a GoPro lens. We know that's not the curvature of the Earth. Yet every news outlet took and run with the fake story that they're trying to feed you, trying to force down your throat. If the Earth's a ball, the Earth's a ball, period. The Earth's a ball, and we don't need to lie about it. We don't need to tell lies about, oh, these show the curvature of the Earth. No, you're showing me a GoPro lens. Don't lie to me. If we can't see the curve because you need to be up at 200,000 feet, then tell people you can't see the curve because you're not at 200,000 feet. That's the truth. That's what you would tell people. You would not lie. You don't need to tell children that water goes down the drain the opposite way in the north and the south. That's a lie. You don't need to tell people that this guy circumnavigated the globe because you're lying. He didn't circumnavigate the globe. So why are we lying if it's the truth? To me, I'm smart enough to say, wait a second, you're lying about all these things? Plus you taught me the globe when I was 6 years old? Plus I couldn't question it? Plus I'm called an idiot now if I question it? Plus you taught me that the stupidest thing somebody can be is a flat earther? And now I've investigated it and seen that it's got its merit? Now, to me, if you're not smart enough to see the writing on the wall, then you'll never see it. You're just going to keep believing whatever they tell you, and more power to you. Enjoy it because it's exactly what they want you to do. Enjoy the lie. So let's see here. Let's get a path and Google Earth. Okay, sorry. There we go. Now we're looking at Google Earth, and you can see I just drew a line from North Carolina down to South America, down to here, down to Brazil, South Pole, back, out to here, down to New Zealand, up to Hawaii, across to LA or something, to Alaska, to here, and over here. Okay, so stand back and look at this globe, and you tell me, why would we lie to people and say that this is circumnavigating the globe? Is this circumnavigating the globe? To go here, go to the South Pole, come right... So why wouldn't you have just gone here? Why would you go all the way back, all the way up here, all the way down here, when you could have just gone here? You know, to me, there's no excuse. It's just, that's fine. If the weather was too tough, I understand that, but it's a ridiculous flight to do on your own. So you didn't break the record. You didn't circumnavigate. That's okay. Nice try. Valiant effort. Nope. He circumnavigated. I mean, that makes no sense. It's the kind of thing that would happen if there was some sort of deception or some sort of lie going on. Not the kind of thing that happens when you actually have a ball Earth, then you actually give away awards for circumnavigating it. Then you would actually have circumnavigation be a requirement of that record. So let's continue on. That's impressive as hell. You're a machine, not human, said Steve Krim as Harrelson opened the door of his plane. Harrelson, who took off from Kinsport December 28th, had few words to describe his journey. I'm glad that's over, were the first words when he climbed out of the plane. He flew home on a home-built Lancair 4 experimental aircraft on his round-the-world journey, taking a route over the North and South Poles. You see this? I mean, disappoints me, man. I mean, just, there's stuff like this. When I see stuff like this, then what are we even researching? If you're going to research stories that we just saw, that he clearly did not go over, but here's a news story where it says he took a route over the North and South Poles. So if somebody investigates this, they're going to say, no, you idiot, he went over the North and South Poles. He circumnavigated. But did he? We just saw he didn't. The small aircraft was configured, blah, 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 but he built the airplane specifically for this trip. See what else we find here. Harrelson knew what he needed to do. He'd attempt the world record-setting flight in 2013, but adverse weather conditions prevented his pursuit. The weather didn't hold him back this time. It absolutely did. It absolutely did hold him back. That's his excuse for not going over the South Pole. It was scary, he said. It was particularly alarming when he was flying... Excuse me. Quiet down. He was flying over the North Pole. Yeah, sure it was. Cold enough that he couldn't keep his oil temperature above 70 degrees, which could have led to mechanical problems. He said the worst part of the trip was being stuck as he was grounded in many places. On January 2nd, he rested a week in Chile. A week later, he was just outside of New Zealand. Later, he was stateside in Honolulu, and he kept a watchful eye of the weather. Approximately 1,000 people were following his trek on Facebook. He was able to keep in frequent contact with his friend. The 3-week flight is already making waves throughout the experimental aircraft community. How are you going to top that? Asked Dennis Ramsey, who also flies the Lancair 4. As they await official confirmation from the National Aeronautic Association and the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale that the record was set, there's one person who will not try and break it. Harrelson. He's not attempting any more world records. No, this is it. I'm happy to have done this, and I'm not doing it again, he said. Harrelson said he was a flight instructor to the summer he graduated high school, but he's been a pilot all his life. It's a sickness, he says. I mean, this is ridiculous. And this is, again, that same link to the spider tracks, which you can never get to anymore. And no wonder why. I mean, and actually, I'm going to email this person right here because I need to ask them. Excuse me, I'm trying to copy this. I'll be asking this person, why would you lie to people? I mean, why say that stuff? I mean, it just makes no sense to me. I don't understand why we have to live in a world where people have to lie. The guy did something awesome. Just say that. Say what he did. Congratulate him on doing something awesome. But you don't need to say that he went over the South Pole when it's been admitted that he hit the South Pole and turned around. And he had adverse weather in the North Pole. That's when he got really scared. Well, no, he obviously had worse weather at the South Pole because he had to turn around. Just ridiculous. The way I look at it, this is why no matter what I do going forward, it's helpful, because either I'm going to uncover the biggest deception of all time or be a part of that uncovering, or I'm going to change the way they teach children. Because in this process, we're going to uncover the actual truths and the actual evidence for the ball Earth, and then these children that are growing up won't have to be just told at second grade and moved on. They'll actually be given the evidence and the research and the verification, and that's what you should get when you believe something. But we were taught belief comes from somebody telling you to believe it, and that is not okay. You need to, it's just not the way you raise a society or raise a group of individuals, that you want them to feel confident in what they believe because they've been given the evidence that suffices that belief. And none of us were taught that way, and that's a joke. And so either they taught us a lie, or they don't know how to teach. And by doing what we're doing, we're going to fix that either way.